Okay, so the lesson learned from video number one. Do not make videos so long. This is going to be, rather than like a whole Troughton retrospective like I did for Hartnell, this is going to be just season four. Just season four Troughton, actually. Bite-sized videos are probably the better to go because I don't want to spend 900 hours uploading these things onto YouTube. Okay, so let's kick off with Power of the Daleks, which is possibly one of my favourite Dalek stories of all time. I can't think of the Dalek Master Plan is up there as well. Remembrance of the Daleks and Revelation 2, probably not for the Daleks themselves. The Power of the Daleks just shows the Daleks at their scheming, devious, bastard best. They're wonderful in it. I think David Whittaker had a really good handle, and Dennis Spooner, of how to show the deviousness of the Daleks. And it's wonderful how this story builds such incredible momentum as it goes along. It's an interesting first story for Troughton because he's kind of unsure in this one and in the Highlanders, I think, as well. But by the end of the story, the Doctor has defeated the Daleks. Henceforth, this guy who's posing as the Doctor, as far as I'm concerned, is... Oh yeah, we also saw him change face, and that weird thing in the mirror as well. Lots of Polly and Ben in this one, although it's bizarre how they both have a holiday, so there's lots of Ben initially, and then there's lots of Polly later. But actually letting them stand on their own 2 feet gives them a chance to shine, I think. And from the stills, it looks like it would have been very, very dramatic. Have you seen the animation? If you haven't, why the fuck are you listening to this? Go buy it. It's one of the better examples of animation out there. I think that any scene with the Daleks in looks fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Me and my friend Paul, we watched it, we were blown away by the Dalek scenes. The facial animation is more clunky and less realistic, but as far as I understand, they have a limited budget and not much time to make these, so frankly we are damn lucky that they exist in the first place. So yeah, the Power of the Daleks animation gets a massive thumbs up from me, just for existing in the first place, frankly. The Highlanders, the last pure historical for quite some time, does it deserve more kudos than it gets? Not really. It's okay. It never really kind of aspires to greatness. It has Troughton doing some crazy kind of lunacy comedy in the middle, and it has pretty grim moments overall, but it isn't not very memorable like most of the like really decent historicals are. What's going on with me? I'm all over the shop. I don't really have much to say about the Underwater Menace. It's there. If that's the best they could do, like historical wise, I can see why they kind of dropped that at this point. The Underwater Menace is something that has to be seen to be believed. The end of episode 3, yeah, I'm gonna do it. You are a fool! You are a fool! And I shall send you back to your beloved god Amdor. Nothing in the world can stop me now. Has to be seen to be believed. Zaroff is one of those Doctor Who villains that you just have to witness. It is a grandiose, epic, operatic performance. Frankly, it's the most entertaining thing in it. I don't see what people have a problem with it in. It's ambitious in a very different way from the Web Planet. As far as I understand, it was quite an expensive show to make, and still kind of out of reach of what the production could actually do. But it is a lot of fun for all of its kind of creaky B-moviness. And it kind of has a quite a punchy ending. You know, Atlantis sinks and Zaroff drowns, which is a kind of ignoble end to a pretty fun villain. The Moon Base. is a good story. I really like the animation for this one. I think it suits the story rather well. The moon base skips along nicely. I find all the human characters a bit boring, but the regulars are so much fun, and that's the one really good thing about this whole run is that the regulars are so much fun. Polly Ben and Jamie much underrated, even though Jamie isn't given that much to do in this story. Yeah, the Moonbase is pretty good. I think I gave it a 6 out of 10. Primarily because I think a lot of the things that it does, based on the siege, the Cybermen invading en masse, are all done better later on, frankly. But it's the show kind of going for that kind of big, bold image. It's like a blockbuster image, isn't it? The Cybermen walking across the moon. And I think it pulls it off fairly well, actually. Morris Barry, for apparently he was the director of the old school, did a pretty good job, I thought, of Doctor Who, Tomb of the Cybermen, and the Dominators. We'll get to that later. Macroterra is much underrated in my opinion. I would like to see that one brought back. I think that one, like Enemy of the World, would be much better thought of if that returned to the archives. Ben's a bit of a wanker in this, isn't he? And Michael Grace plays that really well. It's good to see Jamie getting a stronger role in this because you can tell his lines have been shared amongst Polly and Ben's in the previous stories, but Jamie gets a really fun scene where he does the Highland fling. I like kind of the contrast in this one, the kind of the jolly hippiness of the holiday camp and the kind of darker influence of the macro. I think that's pulled off very well, and it has the weirdest soundtrack of all time. That music. Well, this is gay, as they say. Yeah, the faceless ones I'm not hugely keen on. I think it's okay for is it. I find the direction is really ploddy and it kind of drags a bit. But you've got Pauline Collins in a really fun role. Troughton absolutely coming into his own at this point. Jamie's fun. The chameleons are a kind of horrific monster, but they're I don't know. Everyone plays them very blank faced, and they're those kind of aliens. They don't have a lot of personality. I would really like to see the cliffhanger where the plane turns into the spaceship. That must have been a very cool moment. But yeah, overall, it's kind of like a 5 out of 10 for me. It just sort of exists, but it doesn't really wow me. Unlike Evil of the Daleks, which I think is quite wonderful, it shows the absolute possibilities of Doctor Who, present day stuff, past stuff, future stuff. The one episode that we have, the direction is absolutely phenomenal. Troughton blows me away in this one. There's a really strong role for Jamie. I don't think Jamie was ever written much better than he is in this story. He gets to be heroic. He gets to rescue Victoria. He gets to into some like real conflict with the Doctor. I think he gets a very strong role. Fraser Hines absolutely rises to the occasion. He's wonderful in this. It doesn't really run out of steam. The ideas are pretty quirky. The whole human factor, Dalek factor thing. But again, it's Whittaker trying to do something different with the Daleks. And different is good. Well, different isn't always good. Paradise Towers. Sorry. We'll get there. But it is certainly trying to look at the Daleks from a different angle. And plus it has a really kind of strong climactic ending with the Dalek City and the Daleks being wiped out for good. It's pretty much the definitive Dalek story. Whilst I think Tower of the Daleks is a stronger Dalek story, just because they're seen at their like evil best. Evil of the Daleks is gives the Daleks a big, huge, epic play out in, and in the end, they're wiped out for good, or until the next time the ratings are low and they need a little boost. So yeah, Evil of the Daleks is a solid, a fantastic 9 out of 10 from me. And yeah, so you've kind of got the show moving away from being substantial and having a great deal of intellect about it, but it's certainly a very worthy season. It's entertaining, and the formula of Based Under Siege hasn't hit yet. So it kind of you got the Underwater Menace and the Macro Terror in there, which are both kind of very out there stories. It wouldn't be till season 6 that the show would be this eclectic, trying different things from week to week. So season 4 is fun, it's peppy, it's energetic, it's Doctor Who at its most brainless, but probably at its most entertaining.